Hi guys, it's Wolver here, guys. It is Wednesday, actually. Sorry, Wednesday, about 10 to 7 in the morning. I'm just about to go to work, guys. Guys, we are definitely close. That's what came through, right? And the reason why there's no intel, everyone has been ordered to keep their mouth shut. Everyone needs to be quiet because there's too much money involved in this. Right, but we are definitely close. That came through. So, guys, keep the faith, and hopefully, by the grace of God, hopefully we'll get that through, and we'll start celebrating. Take care. Bye bye.
This was a message from Wolverine. Guys, I want you all to get ready as the RV is upon us. This is real now and no disinformation. Please make sure you have all your paperwork ready, e.g. passport, ID card, license, and birth certificate. It's a bond. Make sure you fix yourself mentally and remember once you receive your blessing, you go straight home. Tomorrow I'm expecting to receive the call and the opera will come out. This will be screened on a Zoom call and YouTube. Get ready to celebrate everyone. God bless everyone, Wolverine.
I like that one, Jerry. I am right ready. I'm right ready too. Let's get to it. Hello, Houston in the house. I appreciate that one. Throw up the news time banner, see what we can cover. There are great bond expectations later today coming out of, most of them coming out of Europe. We will keep an eye on it. Hopefully we'll have something very positive on that front to share today. Today is that magic 8 that we keep hearing about, that many bond folks have commented on. Now we need to see some progress. Sorry about that double picture there. I'm monitor limited when I'm at this setup. So Donnie discusses with who? JP Morgan. Oh, wait, the JP Morgan Chase always tells people they have nothing to do with Iraqi. Yeah, that one. Soudani discusses with JP Morgan mechanisms to secure remittances and their access to Europe America. This is all about the banking reform. These are part of the white paper reforms that they have talked about that lead to the end conclusion of lifting the purchasing power of all Iraqis. That's very clearly what they said. So a positive. We got some interesting ones coming out of Iraq. Here's one from, we got a couple from yesterday, a couple from today coming, well, later in the business day yesterday in Iraq, and a number of them from today in the business cycle in Iraq. No significant barriers left to resume Kurdish oil exports, according to Baghdad. We're getting this from a couple of different directions. I probably should have, we're going to have another one coming soon. On that same front, Parliament reveals the date of the arrival of the 2025 budgets. Later this week or very beginning of next, they will be in front of Parliament. Members already have them. They're discussing, finalizing. They expect them to be voted on later this week, very early next week. Right here it goes. In the coming days, 2025 budgets are expected to reach the House of Representatives in the coming days, specifically by the end of this week or next week. It is the week that we are in. So we may see this tying in with bond completions. The timing could be ideal. What is happening globally is a temporary crisis. Sudanese advisor, our budget took into account oil fluctuations, and the decline will not affect us. They've talked about this at great length. I love seeing him sound off because a lot of naysayers out there like, oh my God, everything's imploding because of the price of oil. We have a sound voice, calm voice in the storm of insanity. I did find this one interesting, and I'm not certain here was the place to put it, but it did come out of Iraq. U.S. Bank expects oil prices to fall below $40 a barrel. Which bank? Goldman Sachs has been making some very bold predictions that they are looking by the end of this year for oil to drop to about 55, the following year to 50. Over the next few years, they look for oil to drop down to 40, increased production, less demand, more efficiency. Just thought it was interesting because Goldman Sachs is also the company telling us that we are going to see a massive rise in the price of gold. They've been making some very bold predictions. Al-Sudani announces his issuance of decisions to restructure government banks. Here's those white paper reforms. Should have kept them in a better order for you guys so I wasn't bouncing around as much. great detailed one. Everything it has done by restructuring, the preparation, the tax revenue that has gone up, the security, how it has allowed them to curtail any smuggling or dollars going to Iran. A really great breakdown. The adoption of the average Iraqi citizen into the banking system 2 years ago, 10% used banks, now 40%. That number expected to grow similar numbers this year. Again, this is important. Scuda, ports, he goes into the whole thing, right? Customs procedures for the UN, goes into the whole thing talking about those reforms that they have been working on. And that is important because it's the white paper reforms, and he's telling you how successful they have been. What did he tell us a couple years ago when he rose to power? We're going to finish these reforms so we can lift the purchasing power, specifically the white paper reforms. Here we are. Here's those banking financial reforms that he told you we would see, and we see them. You're watching the progress. This was just a fun one for you guys. Vietnam eyes to begin high-speed rail construction in 2026. Vietnam appears to be very much on the rise as China appears to be in receding. I'm just watching these numbers. I think it's like 450 kilometers per hour, something nuts. Let's see, 350 kilometers per hour, which is over 200 miles an hour is what this train, if I remember my math correctly. 23 passenger stations, 5 freight stations. Government eyes start building the Lao Cai Hanoi Langson Railway in December. High speed, boy, it would be easier if they revalued. They could pay for this puppy with nothing. Although what they're paying to put these top-notch, world-class systems in, we're talking less than California Blue trying to do a much shorter one and never got off the ground. I think they built like one portion of bridge and nothing else for it or track. Thai stock market to lower the ceiling floor limits. This is was for today in the market. A lot of knee-jerk reactions still going on the financial front. Let's see where we're at right now. Curiosity, we're up 1,300 points this morning. 1,300 points. Seems the rest of the world is finally figuring out what Donald Trump has done. He has reset the world. Right on to the bond side. Let's break out the notes. It's going to get very difficult. They are cracking down. Like I've said in the past, they've been cracking down. They're going like over the top. Bond contracts, many of them do expect to complete this week. I think I've got my first contact that has one that should complete tomorrow. Those are dollars. Should complete. Very excited. All my bond contacts are very excited about the week. May have to sneeze, guys. So if you my microphone goes out, it's me saving your ears. I am told with those contracts expected the weeks that they will not take any new bond contracts. In other words, if you haven't submitted your bond, they may not process until sometime this summer. Of course, don't panic, guys. It's April, so you're talking possibly a couple months while they finish all the other historic bonds. And I have been told from every bond source right now that they are going after flippers, meaning they are shutting down the flipping on bonds. They're only doing them the proper way through the sovereigns. So if you're trying to flip a bond, probably time to back off because I am told they are shutting down the flipping operations that many were trying to do right before it goes. We also have a curious closed door Fed meeting. It's supposed to go on today. I don't have the time. All I know is from my DC So, how long was sound gone? Oh, allergies in the Carolinas are just rough. All right, where did you lose me, guys? Because I noticed the no sound. What was the last thing I said? Don't tell me I don't have sound. 10 seconds doesn't help. Tell me the last thing I said. When I started about the DC contacts. Okay, fantastic. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. DC contacts are telling me that they are expecting a closed door Fed meeting. They've called an emergency one. I don't know if the plan is for what time today is that behind the doors, closed door Fed meeting. So they are calling them in quickly. All right, that's what I wanted to say on that front.
Fair to say you simply flooded the system with money.
Yes, we did. That's another way to think about it. We did.
Where does it come from? Do you just print it?
We print it digitally. So we, as a central bank, we have the ability to create money digitally. And we do that by buying treasury bills or bonds or other government guaranteed securities. And that actually increases the money supply. We also print actual currency and we distribute that through the Federal Reserve banks.
Forwarded from Dream a Better Dream. The biggest scam in life. Paying taxes on the money you make. Paying taxes on the money you spend. And paying taxes on the things you own that you already pay taxes on with already taxed money.
Let's talk about the intel. Let's talk about where we are. I'm pretty excited about what I heard today, especially later this afternoon. But let me go back a minute and see if I remembered saying this stuff to you last Tuesday, a week ago. I was hearing that the tranches that were coming from HSBC to Wells Fargo, we had a bunch of them that were trying to go through, and they were having trouble getting them through. I'm not quite sure what happened to allow them to go through, but I understand, and I can't remember exactly when, whether it was Wednesday or Saturday, whenever it was, there were 2,500 tranches that came through, each of which was $50 billion, and these were from bond sales, okay? And these came in at between midnight and 3 a.m. in the morning. I think it was just a few days ago that those came in. But those funds were there to be there for us, for our exchanges. So that's a nice piece of change to bring in what we needed to get started. Now, this other thing is interesting. The quantum financial system is running in parallel with the SWIFT system, which is primarily used for international wire transfers. They haven't dropped it yet. It's still going. And so is the FinTech system. So you've got these three systems running in parallel until the USN is announced and brought out. So we understand we have a new dollar, we have a new currency, a paper currency, the United States Treasury note, and we have all this under the restored republic. That transition to the restored republic that we're in the process of making now will bring out the new USN, and it will invalidate the $37 trillion debt that this country has amassed as a United States incorporated. The corporation is being dissolved. And we're going back to a restored republic with a new currency. The USN is the digital nomenclature, and the USTN is the physical bills that we will handle, that we will have in our hand, in our wallets and money clips. Okay? And that change is about to take place very quickly here, very soon. It's hard to pin that down as to when is that going to happen? When are we going to get the U.S.? When are we going to get? It's all part of NESARA and JSARA, and it's a hard thing to pin down. You can't really tell exactly when it's going to be part of that, but I think it's not very far off to have NESARA and JSARA kick in with some announcements. Now, I've told you guys we expected Social Security increases this month. I don't know if we've had any yet. I don't think we had the first Wednesdays. I would have heard if the first Wednesdays got their increase in Social Security. But don't give up on the month. It could happen as a separate payment this month. All right, what about Doge? The Doge payments, I've heard there's a number, and it's in the well over 100 or 200 trillion dollars available for Doge. It's crazy high. It's way high. And the Doge payments are supposed to start in the third week, which would be next week of April, and be done by Easter, which, as you guys know, is April 20th. So yes, 2 days ago was Sunday. That's 2 weeks till Easter Sunday. Okay, so we should have our Doge payments, which could be substantial, really, before Easter. Anybody 60 and over, if they have a bank account, will be, well, let me requalify that. Everybody that is in that retirement class, either 60 or 62 and older, will get it by direct deposit. In other words, don't necessarily look for a paper U.S. Treasury check in the mail. If you have a bank account, they know who you are by your Social Security number, and you should be getting your Doge payment by direct deposit. And obviously, if you're on Social Security, you're getting that by direct deposit also. So those should still be coming this month. And the increase in social, we think, is also going to still be this month. And we're just in the second week of April now. R&R, I've said, I don't know how many times, for those of us who are exchanging and redeeming ZIM at the redemption centers, the R&R, restitution reconciliation allowance, will be there waiting for you to mention it to them. And it should be put in your quantum account after your exchange funds and redemption of ZIM go in to your quantum account. Now, I'm going to probably ask them when I go in, before I even pony up the currency for exchange, I'll ask them about the R&R. Do you have the reconciliation and redemption reconciliation allowance for me? Is it in my quantum account? They should be able to pull it up by your Social Security number. All right, we'll see. So we'll see how that flies. I've been told it's in the quantum account. It will be in the quantum account, whatever. And I just want to know how much it's going to be. It's going to be a good number. It's going to be a bigger number than we think it is. So that'll be great to see that too. It might be dwarfed by the ZIM, let's face it. It will be, but it'll still be cool to have it. All right, so what else? On the redemption center screens, the rates are coming up. I don't know if all 17 or 18 currencies that are going way up in value are on the screen, but we did hear, of course, that we do have dinar and dong and ZIM, of course, on the screen, and we'll see the others have probably already populated or populating now. We did see a dong rate just under 11 on Friday. So that's going in the right direction, and expect it to be a little higher than that when we go in for exchanges. Now let's talk about where we are on the timing. You remember I told you guys President Trump told Alak and Dr. Shabibi that he wanted to see this come through between the 5th and the 9th of April. 9th is tomorrow. That, in a way, is a self-imposed deadline that I think we just might hit. Because what we're hearing from about 4 or 5 different sources is the fact that we think, first of all, everything's done. I'm going to back up a second and say we know that the farm claims have been set up and we believe have been paid. The CMKX was set up, meaning ready to pay out, ready to go. And I believe it may have also been paid in the last 2 days. And then we also have the fines and penalties and maybe other adjudicated settlements already lined up. And I think, just like a line of dominoes, and that first domino may have already fallen. So I can't say absolutely that they've been paid out, but I know they were about to be 2 days ago. So we'll see where that takes us. Regarding our notifications, all right, we've got redemption center leader that's going in. It has to be in at his desk at 9:45 in the morning tomorrow. The rest of the staff at the redemption center coming in at 11. It lets me think maybe we've got our notifications coming out around mid-morning or so. And then we've got exchanges probably would start on Thursday. So it looks very good from all sources. One source said tomorrow, meaning Wednesday, will be a boom day. Boom day. And that everything else will fall in after that. Another source has said that the green light will come on, meaning green light to pay out everything, will start overnight tonight. I've heard 1 a.m. in the morning tomorrow. I've heard overnight tonight. And I believe that is going to show up with us, for us, as emails tomorrow. Let's call it before noon. It sounds like that. And then, obviously, we want to set our appointments and get in for our exchanges. It looks like Thursday will be the day to go in for our exchanges. They may use all of tomorrow just to set appointments, and that's fine. Let's see what else. There is so much else going on. Politically, the tariffs are working. You realize a lot of people don't understand the tariffs. I get the tariffs because I know the purpose of them. And I know that by instilling these tariffs on our trading partners as nations, of 50 countries that want to get right down with President Trump and negotiate, 39 of those 50 countries have said, we will go to no tariff. If you do, we will. You go to zero tariff, we'll go to zero tariff. Then you have a free and fair trade agreement, which is really good. We want it to be fair. We want it to be free. And the other 11 nations, I'm sure, will negotiate and come up to an agreement with President Trump and the team. I'll tell you, it's amazing that we've got a president that can stand up and do this and install trade practices where we're not getting screwed by all these countries around the world like we have ever since they started. And now we're going to be able to make it fair and make it free for eventually the world. That's part of what GESARA is all about, is leveling the playing field so that we can trade freely and equally between nations around the globe. So this is all part of what GESARA is going to be. It's really a good thing. It's a very good thing. Yeah, the stock market took a hit Thursday and Friday of last week. Yeah, I know. But it's probably a short-lived adjustment. It was a major adjustment. I get that. But if you're listening to me and you're in the currencies, it won't matter at all. It's a blip on the radar, a bug on the windshield is what it amounts to. We're going to end up doing very, very well, as you guys know. Now, banks do not have a contract rate on the dinar, only redemption centers. Banks are not going to be negotiating ZIM bonds, our ZIM notes. Redemption centers are. You're going to be in very good shape on the dinar contract rate. I've told you where that is going to be already. And obviously the ZIM speaks for itself. It's on par with the US dollar, and it will be on par with the USN, our new dollar. And so you don't have to worry about that at all. This is the time to get ready, and it's really the time to prepare.
Forwarded from Truth Warriors, Chris. A very interesting explanation of the tariff situation with China. They are on the same team with the US in playing things out for the outcome required. They are taking down the deep state elites in Europe. Great strategy. Page 1 of 2. This is from IWNH on X. The setup, a secret pact with China. In the shadows of global power, Donald Trump and Chinese leadership have forged a secret alliance. The 34% tariffs China imposed on the US aren't retaliation. They're a stage act in a geopolitical drama. Trump and China are partners, targeting the real enemy, the European, UK financial elites, known as the deep state globalists. These elites control institutions like the Bank of England and the European Central Bank, manipulating global markets to siphon wealth from the US through trade agreements and financial schemes, keeping America economically subservient while they hoard riches offshore. Trump, aware of this since his first term, via classified briefings, knew a direct attack on these elites would fail. They are too entrenched, shielded by political puppets in London and Brussels. So he devised a plan, used China as a proxy to create chaos in global markets, forcing the deep state to reveal their weaknesses in a high-stakes economic game. The chess game, tariffs as a market trap. The 34% tariffs from China, paired with Trump's threat of 50% tariffs, are designed to disrupt the global economy. Trump knows the European, UK elites have billions invested in US and Chinese markets. By staging this tariff escalation, he forces them to react, moving money, adjusting portfolios, and exposing their strategies. It's a chess game with Trump 3 moves ahead. Step 1. Create panic. The tariff threats spark market volatility. US, China trade stocks, like tech and manufacturing, plummet. The elites, fearing losses, shift assets to safe havens, gold, cryptocurrencies, or markets they control. Step 2. Track the moves. Trump, with US intelligence loyalists, monitors every financial move, logging transactions and offshore transfers. The elites think they're outsmarting the chaos, but they're walking into a trap. Step 3. Strike when vulnerable. Once the elites overcommit, Trump and China resolve the trade war on April 9th, 2025, with a surprise deal. Markets rebound, but the elites, having bet against the market, face massive losses. Trump's allies in the US and China buy up devalued assets, companies, real estate, and more at a fraction of their worth. Zoom News on X. Latest. The anticipated tripartite meeting on Wednesday between the Iraqi Oil Ministry, the KRG's Ministry of Natural Resources, and Epicure has been postponed for an unknown reason, sources have told Zoom News Akam Fahmy in Baghdad. Full report, April 8, 2025. We all know this is a worldwide military operation. So what has been in the news constantly since April 2nd? That's right, tariffs. So I will break it down in small letters for you. T. Tactical, relating to military tactics or operations. A. Acquisition, securing resources or assets. R. Resources, supplies, funds or materials critical to operations. I. Interdiction, disrupting or blocking enemy supply lines or actions. F. Forces, a collection of military forces. F. Financial, pertaining to monetary or economic matters. S. Strategy, a military plan to take over and take out the old financial system based on debt slavery. By combining resource acquisition and interdiction tactics, this operation deploys a collection of military forces to strategically target and replace exploitative economic structures, ensuring both operational dominance and long-term financial liberation. The mission integrates precise military maneuvers with economic warfare, positioning the force as a transformative entity capable of reshaping the fiscal landscape through calculated, resource-based interventions. This is the war stage just before the final stage. Keep this in mind. You were right again. Tariffs is an acronym and a com. Source, Sarge. Semper Supra, Love and Light. No exceptions, no deals. Guardian, Daniel R. How will the global currency reset unfold? We know we're returning to the gold standard. Countries around the world are coincidentally discovering massive gold deposits worth billions of dollars. Gold is pushing ATHs as the stock market tanked. Chaos births creation. The GCR needs a cover story to provide the masses with an excuse for why this major shift is happening. President Trump wants a level playing field. What exactly does that mean? Zero tariffs. 1-to-1 currency exchange rates. Would 1-to-1 actually be a level playing field, or does LPF actually provide us with a formula for currency values to fairly reflect their economy? In other words, every country gets a fair shot. Vietnam, ready to flip the switch. Trade deficit with the US over 120 billion, VNI stock market down 15%. Broken all support levels below their 52-week low, VND at junk rate. They offer zero tariffs, i.e. no earnings from imports. So now these main companies have to pony up with the government and start importing more goods at a junk rate in order to bring equilibrium to the trade balance with the US. Can they afford it at this junk rate? Or are they well positioned to flip the switch? Chart attached of ENI 1 year. Reset incoming. You are a magnet. When you become a magnet of wealth, you attract wealth. When you become a magnet of health, you attract health. When you become a magnet of love, you attract love. When you become a magnet of joy, you attract joy. You must become the magnet of whatever it is you want to bring it to you. Magnet comes first, manifestation is second. Manifestation is the effect of the magnet of you. 3697.